Hey, what's going on, everybody in the chat? It's been a long time since I've done a live stream. I think it's been about 2 months. I think it's the last time I did any type of live stream. What's going on? Komet God, Mr. Parking Lot, Dun Pill Hunter Zero, Shaw Willie, Taylor, Tashana, Jamal, Robin, Isaiah, Nashawn, Pinky, Leonard, Alana. Oh yes, the trolls are definitely triggered because when I came on to make this as a post yesterday, I had 6 dislikes and 4 likes, and the show hadn't even started yet. Like they were. Listen, I don't know if it was the title saying anti NFL or what, but I didn't have anything in the title. Like they don't know what I'm going to discuss, but I'm almost certain that they're going to be watching. Sure, King Hebrew. Anybody who wants to be a mod, let me know, because I'm definitely going to need them, because you already know how the trolls get down on my channel. What's going on, Joe Johnson? Forza, Crude, Reality. What's going on, Jarvis? Hey, Cats, Shelly. Just gonna wait for a couple more people to get in, or a couple more minutes, and then we're gonna get started. And shout out to Shaw Willie for posting the link to the PayPal in there. Shaw Willie, it's gonna be another link I'm gonna be sending your way too, but I'm gonna get into that discussion soon. Oh yeah, most definitely. Like Heyman said, hit the like button when you come into the room. Ashley, I'm glad to be live streaming again as well. I enjoy doing these, as y'all already know. It allows me to engage with my audience in a real-time setting. We're gonna get into that, Leonard. I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna get into that. That's gonna be like the second thing I'm gonna talk about after the first thing. But I'm gonna just wait for I'm gonna probably get started officially at 1:05, so we got about 2 minutes. Shelly, those 6 dislikes came from yesterday when I just made the announcement that I was doing a live stream today. Like they did that last night. Like it's crazy. I had put it up yesterday that I was live streaming today, and I came back and checked later on, and I had 6 dislikes. What's going on? Nightfall, Drop Queen Divinity. But I'm used to it now because that's happened before. Appreciate it, GJD. What's going on, Emerald Princess? You said you asked, have I noticed the troll activity increase on Sunday? I've never noticed that because this is my first time live streaming for quite some time. Yes, Joe Johnson, I just got it. Hold on. Is that you who just sent it? It was $10? Because it's under a different name. What's going on, S. Wiseman? Emerald Princess, it almost sound like you work in some kind, I don't know if you work at a bar or some kind of like clothing store or something like that. Oh yeah, that video, yeah. You won't have to worry about me doing a review for that movie. Oh, you work. Oh, okay. In that case, I can see why they would have a lot of sports stuff because that's a country club. It is Ashton. It most definitely is. Okay, it's 1:05. I wanted to get started. All right, the first thing I wanted to talk about, and this is not really a topic, but it's more of a shout out. Now, y'all already know that every month I usually do a shout out of my Patreon and PayPal supporters, but you notice that I didn't do that for the month of July or August because I wanted to wait and to do it on a live stream so y'all can hear it live instead of in a pre-recorded video all at one time. So I'm gonna list all of those, and there's quite a few of them. As a matter of fact, Patreon was very good to me in the month of August, by the way, might I add. So I'm gonna go ahead and read those names off right now. And this is PayPal. I'm doing PayPal first for the month of July. Shout out to Audrey Wright, Renee Taylor, Terrence Lattimore, David Carroll, Housekeeping. That was their name. That's the name they used. Michael McMillan, who donated twice, and that was for the month of August. I'm sorry, July. For the month of August, shout out to Audrey Wright, Ricardo Brown, Anthony Stevens, Kala Horton, Eric McMillan, and that was for August. So when October comes in and I live stream again on that Sunday, I'll do the month of September. Okay, Joe Johnson, I did. Okay, now I see it. I see your name. This must be somebody else who donated, and I think it was. It's just that I didn't refresh the page. Now I'm going to go ahead and read off the people who contributed to my Patreon for the month of July and August as soon as I can pull it up. Okay, Cats, that Mason Woods person, that's the Twitter stalker right there. That's the Twitter. I had to put my phone down right quick. That's the Twitter stalker right there. The one who kept asking about the XXX Tentacion video. That's the one who kept stalking me on Twitter, asking the same questions, but they under different accounts. But yeah, that's the one, and I know where he's tweeting from. This, or I should say, typing in here from. That person is typing from Oklahoma because one of my followers on Twitter was able to help me get their IP address, and all of their accounts trace right back to the same Oklahoma location. And I bet you that Smokey person is the same person. I'm telling you, most of that is all the same person. Those of you who are in Angry Man's Discord who are watching right now know about that stalker because I talked about him quite a few times in that chat. It's the same exact person. That Smokey and that Mason Woods person are the same person because they ask the same question every time. They've been doing that since he died, since he got murdered back in June. All right, let me get back to what I was trying to find. All right. For the patrons for the month of July, shout out to Brian Holloway, LaShawn Simmons, Crew Reality, who's in the chat. Let's see, Lisa Clark, Carol, Mind, Body, and Spirit Radio Show. Shout out to them. I don't know if they're watching right now, but those are the women right there who actually gave me that radio interview back in July. We were supposed to do another one in August. I don't know what happened. Hopefully we can do another one again because I actually enjoyed their program. Derek Mills, Ravenous 300, Maurice, Nubian DNA. And that was for July. For August was Justin Starks, Didi. I cannot pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I'm gonna spell it out. SYAHEICEREEZE. I don't know if they're watching the stream right now. And the last person that supported me for the month of August is Catherine. And those are all the people for July and August who were Patreon supporters. Everyone else will get shouted out in October for the month of September. Charlie said if they donate $50, they ain't going. I know they ain't going to donate it. And you know what? Should they donate $50, just to say if they do, I will do a video on it. And it'll be a video to my liking, not to theirs. But that's the first thing. The second thing I wanted to talk about, and someone had actually mentioned it already, was about the shirts. First off, shout out to everybody who's put down an order to get a shirt. Now, I did a video, a follow-up video less than a week later when I was talking to my graphic designer. Basically, it has to be in a cluster of 24. At the time when I made that video, it was 8 orders fulfilled. Right now, we are at 14. We need 10 more orders before we can start processing everything. So basically, everything is what you can say on a back order right now. Imagine when you order something and when it's on back order, it's technically quote unquote sold out, or they're waiting for a shipment. And when it comes in, then that's when they'll send the tracking number, and then they'll start shipping everything. So once those orders get fulfilled, then that's when we can start sending that stuff out. So everybody's stuff is like still there, but we just need 10 more orders. And shout out to Charlotte Willie. She got a hold of the link. She got the PayPal link and the design link. I didn't even have to send anything. She be on it. But also, it's one other thing, well, 2 things about the shirts. One, please do not send me any topics you want me to talk about to the shirt email. I already had one person do that, and I had to delete their message. Oh, I'm glad it was only one. The shirt email should be for the shirts. The only thing that should be coming to that email is when I get the PayPal notification that you paid. Everything else, if you want me to talk about a topic, that goes to my Terrain Rain topics at yahoo.com. Second of all, some of you I'm gonna have to call out, but not by name. Y'all just know who you are. Now, I specifically said in the video, and even over time, when you place an order on PayPal, it has a spot where you can leave a text, where you can leave your name and your billing address, which is your city, zip code, or anything else, apartment number. Some of you are not sending all of the information. Some of you are paying and you're leaving it blank, or you're paying and you have some things and leaving some things out. So basically, when you're sending me an order, like request for what you want, I need first off, I know that you paid. I need your name, your address, zip code, all of that. I also need to know what shirt you're getting, or shirts, because you might be getting more than one. And I need to know the size of the shirt, because some of you missed that too. And I have to email you back and ask you, okay, what shirt size are you getting? Or what shirt are you getting? Treat it as if you are actually ordering off of a website. They're not going to let you process your order if it's incomplete. Hey, Joe Johnson, Char Willie is posting the link in the chat. And while we're talking about the shirt, I'll just go over the prices right now. Okay. The shirts are all pretty much the same price, but they're priced, slightly different for some people. Now, if you are ordering a small, a large, or an XL, an extra large, it's $19 plus $2 shipping. Now, if you are getting a double XL, that's an additional $3.50 because of fabric. And like they have to pay for that because you don't want to throw something, a nice design on something like that, and they stretch it out and it looks kind of skewed and blurred out. Like that's not good quality. Now for the ladies, small, medium, large is $21.99 plus $2 shipping, $2.50 shipping and handling. Now some people questioning why do the women's cost more? It's because those are women who if they want to wear those fitted shirts, the ones that like hug to their body. Otherwise, they'll just get the regular standard shirt. For some women may not like that because then it may look big on them. Yeah, Charwilla is posting the link to the PayPal and she's posting it to the design. If you don't know what the shirts look like, I would suggest that you click the link that has the t-shirt design on it so you can see what you're paying for, what you're getting. Oh, well, thanks for the sub, Underrated Darkness. Okay, so far I see Joe Johnson. It looks like you sent me I got your PayPal thing. Korea. Yeah, I have Streamlabs, but the reason why I don't like using it on here is because I have a Mac. I don't have a desktop Windows where it can flow smoothly. If I do Streamlabs on here, it's real choppy. I actually tried it before a couple months ago and I didn't really like it. Which Cat said one of my mods is trolling. Oh, okay. I see him. Thanks for letting me know, cats. But you could have got rid of them because I'm actually the reason why I'm like I don't mean to have y'all on hold, but I was checking something right quick, and it's kind of hard to multitask with what I'm doing. And I'm glad I had a discussion about this about the shirts because Joe Johnson, you just I hate to call you out, but you just did what I had not wanted you to do. First, you sent the payment to my other PayPal. You were supposed to send it to my shirt PayPal, not my personal one. I already removed them. That J Ram person, I already removed them. And Joe Johnson, I'm also going to need that other information from you too, like your address. I think I saw what shirt you had wanted. You wrote it in the chat though, but now I have to scroll up and see if I can find it. Yeah, I think you clicked the wrong link. You clicked the other link. You clicked the support link, not the shirt link. I wish this that the live stream chat could have a pinned comment uh part like it does in the actual comment section of YouTube. But that's fine though. Like all I have to do is just screenshot it and yeah, thanks for doing that, Shaw. Please, Joe, please don't put your address in the chat because like that's not safe. Please do not put your address in the chat. Don't hide them, Leonard. I'm just needed the message to be deleted. I didn't want him to put his address in the chat. Okay. All right. Yeah, Shaw Willie DM me on Discord your address. So yeah, please don't put that in the chat because then people you don't know who's watching. And like I said, I got trolls and I don't want to look on the news and it says something happened at this location. Then it's gonna come back and trace back to me. Right. Don't put any personal information in this chat on this live stream because now YouTube has that feature where they can replay your chat stream and someone could come on here and look at that and just get a hold of your stuff and yeah, I don't want yeah. But okay, but yeah, Charlotte, she sent me your address through the through a DM. And Joe, what shirt did you say that you wanted? You said it was the I Feel Nothing shirt, and I need your size too. No, I got it. That's all I needed. I needed to know what your size was. Your size and the shirt that you had wanted. But I have everything else. All right, now that we got that all straightened out, now we can start discussing some actual topics. And I think it's very fitting that I start with this particular topic first, because I was going to do another topic first, but I said, let me just go ahead and talk about this one. And that is what happened in Texas recently with the shooting. Yeah, that J Ram character, he managed to weasel his way back in, but we're gonna move on from that. I'm sure my moms will take care of it. The shooting that happened in Texas, because apparently I think he was only hit, like he was probably only hitting or something like that, and that's how he was able to come back in. I thought I had gotten rid of him, but he was still here. I timed him out, and Leonard hit him. Okay. The reason why I did not do a video, like a pre-recorded video on my channel about this story, is because the story to me had already sounded fishy from the jump. And I already knew that as the days went on, that a lot more stuff would come out about it. And the crazy thing is, the story hasn't been out for maybe what, 1 or 2 days. And the way all the stuff is just coming out about it, you would think it would have been out for about a good 2 weeks. Oh, I did. I removed the wrench. King Hebrew. I removed it. But anyway, this story has a lot of layers to it. A lot of them. But let's just start off with the basics. So basically, you have this individual by the name of Botham Shem John, who was murdered, because let's just be real here, he was murdered. This was no accident, by this cop, this white female cop who we've come to learn her name is Amy Geiger. Like, they finally released her name and her image, like her mugshot is now out there, or ID picture, or whatever. It looks more like a mugshot to me. And it was stated that she accidentally went to the wrong apartment and he opened up his door and she shot him. I said it was so many red flags just on that right there. Because one, when the story first came out, I didn't know that they were neighbors. I didn't know that she lived in the same exact complex as him. As a matter of fact, she lived on the floor above him. He lived on the floor below her and she was above him. Now, I was going out saying that he knows her or he knew her or something like that. I wouldn't be shocked if he did. Because how in the world, like, she just happened to stumble to his apartment and you know, managed to find her way in. Now, yesterday, I was looking at a video Jason Black did. And he was showing a video where this lady was walking around, I guess, with one of the managers of the apartment. And they were showing how the key worked. And basically, it was something called a key fob. And basically, a key fob is where a key is only designated for that particular door. Think of a hotel room key. You know how when you go to a hotel room and the key is programmed to your door and you cannot use it on another door, and if you try to, it might deactivate that key and then you got to go and get it reactivated? That's how that key worked. And the guy even demonstrated how the key worked. He said if you turn it in and it doesn't work, a red light will blink. And if you turn it and it opens up, then it will turn green, letting you know you can go in. So everything that's coming out about this is literally going against the lies and the stories that she is giving out. Now, they said that they had sent out a warrant for her arrest. That's what the department did. Well, guess what I just found out? They said, and this was something that actually came out, and I had saw it on somebody's Instagram page. It says Texas Rangers removed the warrant and sent the officer home because she was cooperative. Now, some of you who are not familiar with Texas, they have Texas Rangers in Texas because, according to someone who lives in Texas, said that Texas was its own nation at one point. So they were governing themselves before they became a part of the establishment, and they never got rid of the Texas Rangers. It was almost like they were their own personal FBI. So it's like they went above whatever they were trying to get her on. They were trying to get her on manslaughter. So that's why she didn't stay in. And what's so interesting about that is that lines right up with the Casual Killing Act of 1669, which states it is declared legal to kill a slave while correcting because malice could not be presumed. Basically, what that's saying is if a cop enters your home, and most likely unlawfully or lawfully, they can kill you. And this is as far as Texas goes, they can kill you. And if they want to, they can help you beat the case before there's even a trial. That's some wild stuff. Now, there's some people that were saying that they were together and everything of that nature. We don't know. I don't know if they were together or if they weren't, because that picture had went out there of him with 3 white women. But guess what? None of the 3 white women in that picture was her. Not one of them. So whoever put that out there did it so they can gain clout, or they were clout chasing. And unfortunately, it worked because that picture floated around social media so many times yesterday. And not one of the women in that picture was her. We didn't know what she looked like until like a few hours ago. We didn't know what her name was until a few hours ago. Even that video that person recorded from downstairs in the apartment complex of her pacing back and forth, we still couldn't tell who she was because the video was far away. We just knew that it was her. And then they brought up something about how she had got into it with some kind of suspect last year who they said was trying to take her gun. I said they need to reinvestigate that, because if she could do this to this guy, who knows what happened last year with that particular suspect. She could have been lying about that too. But I could tell by the way that she was pacing back and forth that she knew she had messed up. She was nervous. She didn't render any type of aid. The EMT had to come there and do what they had to do, and she barely did anything, but that was to be expected. The woman's name is Amy Geiger. Her last name is spelled Guyger. But I think the biggest thing that made me mad, and those of you who follow me on Twitter already know, was when they had interviewed his mother. And she came out and said, you know, we are Christian. We're not going to judge her. And you know, we forgive. I was like, oh my gosh, she said it. She said it. I'm like, your son's body is barely in the morgue. He just got the tag on his toe. He's just barely cold. Why are you instantly going out there forgiving and saying you're not going to judge her and say that you're a Christian and everything like that? She even came out and put a statement out there on the behalf of her son and saying, my son never saw color. He never saw race. I was like, oh my God. I said, you're basically allowing something like this to happen again. I said, I hope to God, and hopefully I'm not jinxing myself. I'm gonna knock on wood and say, if something like that ever happened to me, I already told my parents, do not be on that forgiveness crap. Please don't, because that means you're entering a state of defeatist. You're going into the defeatist mode, and you're allowing them to just run over you, and they're going to do it again. Maybe not to you or anyone in your family, but to somebody else. I heard she's from the islands. You said St. Lucia. Yeah, a lot of black people who are from the islands have a mindset that's way different than that of the black American by far, because they've never had to experience what we've had to go through and still go through. So they are all on, most of them are all on that kumbaya train. It's very unfortunate. And then it's happened so much that they almost expect us to be all on that same wave tip, and that if we don't forgive them for wrongdoing, then somehow we're inherently bad. And I think that's why a lot of black people get on that train, because they don't want to be seen as wicked or evil in white people's eyes. Like I said, I can believe it, Shelly. I can believe it. I don't like it. I hate it. I really do. Like, how can you sit there and say you're not going to judge somebody or forgive somebody who just killed your loved one in cold blood? Like, that's a vicious act. And then you're forgiving them and they haven't even apologized. I have yet to hear this Amy Geiger chick come out and say she apologizes for killing this woman's son. And to be honest, I won't be surprised if I don't hear her say it. And even if she did apologize, you got to take that with a grain of salt, because like I have said, white people for the most part do not know how to give a genuine apology. Many of them apologize when they get caught up in something. I remember it was a couple years ago, I heard a story. This is before I really got into the YouTube thing. And trust me, that would have been a dope story to talk about. Where it was this boy, this black boy, who was being bullied or teased by these white kids at the school. I think it happened somewhere down south. And he went home and everything. Like, I think it was because the boys were mad because one of the boys' ex-girlfriends was interested in him and whatnot. Anyway, penis envy. Let's just put it that way. And they actually one night went to the boy's house while his family is home, his mom and his dad, and as far as I know, his dad. And they came up there like maybe 5 deep. Like, they were prepared to jump this boy or drag him out of his house. Pops was like, oh, nah, y'all ain't gonna touch on hair on my boy. He went and got his gun and scared them. They scattered like roaches. But the one in the ringleader felt like he was bold enough. He was like, oh, you think you just gonna run up on my kid and think I'm not gonna do nothing? Popped him right in the chest, killed him. Fast forward, they actually charged the dad with I think it was some type of manslaughter. Anyway, they went to court, had the case and everything. The charges got dropped against him. He was found not guilty, basically because it was self-defense. Like, they rolled up on him. And the family of the guy the boy who got killed, was so mad that they did not charge or convict the dad of murder, even though it laid out all the evidence right there that his son rolled up on his son, and they had enough evidence showing that he was treating him some type of way in school, all because of some girl that was no longer with him, and he rolled up into his house on his property, and he has a right to defend himself, which he did. It just ended in a way that he didn't want it to. But the point is that white family, especially that dad, because I can still remember hearing his voice, was so mad and irate. Not one time did he forgive that black man for killing his son. Exactly, Emerald. Forgiveness should be earned, not handed out. But on the real tip, like we really got to get out of this mode of this forgiveness stuff. Like we just really do. And the thing is, it's like people they it's like a lot of them forgive so quickly. I'm like, let the dust settle a little bit. But I mean, I guess it wouldn't come from me. It would not come from me. I'm just saying. Like when she said that, I immediately almost threw my phone. I was at work when I saw that. I had saw it in the Instagram post and I didn't believe what she said to be true. So I went on to Google and Googled his mother, and I went to I think it was an NBC site, and I saw it. That's when I saw it. And I had the screenshot and I posted it up on Twitter. What's going on, Quincy? What's up, Nikki? Exactly, Shaw. She doesn't even have the whole story for her to start going out there and forgiving somebody. Like everything is still sketchy. Everything is still coming out because it's still fresh. It's like a new development with the story each and every day. That's why I didn't do a video on it, because then I would have to do follow-up videos like crazy. That's why I saved talking about it, the story, until I did this live stream. I think it's the fact that a lot of black people are still, that's why I always said that mental slavery is more powerful and potent than physical slavery. You can heal from your scars, but that mental scar, you cannot shake that. For most people, they cannot shake it. Some people can, and that's a rarity. You're like a unicorn. But for the majority, many cannot shake that enslavement. That's one major reason why a lot of people were still on the plantation for as long as they were. Joe, I'm not talking about her. She's not a topic of discussion, at least not today anyway. All right, I'm done talking about that for right now. If anything else comes out about it, I might do a pre-recorded video about it, or I'll save it for next Sunday. Because something tell me it's gonna be a lot of stuff that's gonna come out next week or sometime. All right, the next thing I wanted to talk about, and I think this was actually the first thing I was going to talk about, and that's the Nike boycott. Now, this one had me cracking up. Now, this one was funny. So, as we all know, Colin Kaepernick has made, I think, multiple chess moves as of lately. And the biggest one I think he's made so far is this Nike campaign that he's attached to, which is their Just Do It campaign, which is the 30-year anniversary of the slogan Just Do It, which we all know is very famous. So he's become the face of the campaign. First off, how many in the people in the chat has seen the ad? How many people in the chat have seen the ad? I actually saw it on his Instagram account. I really liked it. If you haven't had a chance to go and see the ad yet, I suggest you do. It's a very good and powerful looking ad. But anyway, so that was announced that he was now the face of the Nike campaign ad, Just Do It. And them palm-colored Neanderthals got up in arms. I'm talking about heads started to explode. They started tearing up stuff. They started burning things. I laughed so hard when I saw that. I'm like, you are burning up items that you purchased from Nike as if that's going to affect their vault. I'm not going to say pockets, I'm going to say their vault because that's what they have. That is not going to mess up their account. As a matter of fact, I saw a chart after it was announced. I think it was 2 days later. And it said that Nike gained $43 million in free advertising, free marketing after that campaign was announced. 10 million of those dollars came from negative press, meaning those people who cut the swoosh off their socks or burn their Nike shoes, y'all helped Nike get 10 million of the $43 million in free ad revenue. $19 million of it came from good press. The other came from neutral press. Either way, Nike caught that dub, and so did Colin Kaepernick. That's why I said they are not that bright. I'm like, instead of burning up your shoes and cutting up your socks, how about you put on your thinking cap and say, what can I do with this if I'm not supporting Nike anymore, but I still want to do a good deed? How about I donate it to the homeless, or better yet, give it to the vets who I claim to love so much? But you know, that's too much like right. And seeing as how their brain is the size of a pistachio, nah, that's too big. Their brain is like the size of, I don't know what to describe it as. It's just small. Let's just put it that way. I know what video y'all talking about, the picture y'all talking about of the guy who burned his shoes while he was still wearing them. I was gonna do a video about that, but I don't know how true all of that was, because when I was looking it up, they kept saying it was a hoax and everything like that. Otherwise, I would have jumped on making a video about that, because that, if he actually did that, he is the dumbest of the dumb. Just fit him for a dunce cap right now. And I'm glad you said that, Joe Johnson, because I actually saw on Instagram today where it said, and it came from this mayor, and I think this was in New Orleans. And Cats, if you're in here, maybe you can back me up on this. They said it was a memo from the mayor that it's some kind of program, I think, for kids down there, and they said that people will become banned from that establishment if they come in there wearing Nike products, as if that's going to affect them. They'll just go somewhere else. Like, they are that mad that this one guy is attached to this product, to this brand. They're mad because if he's attached to anything. I said, well, in that case, maybe Colin need to spread himself out a little bit more. Drain them all. And I think that's what's going to end up happening, because guess what else I found out? Ford, as in Ford Cars, is now supporting Colin Kaepernick. Well, not Colin. Well, maybe they are, but they're supporting the players' right to protest. I said, uh-oh. I said, Ford pickup trucks, the official car of the palm-colored Neanderthal, the ones that love to ride around with them shotguns and them Confederate flags. I said, what they gonna do? Burn them up? And get this, Nike has a 10-year contract with the NFL. So if they do that, and that's for their apparel, like their jerseys and probably their cleats, if the colonizer who's hating this right now watches those games, while they know Nike is part of that deal, the NFL is going to lose more ratings. Oh yes, Alana, that's my new term. For those of you who keep hearing me say it, palm-colored Neanderthals, that's my new term. Because I was actually having a discussion with some of my coworkers yesterday, and they pointed to their palm because we was talking about a race discussion. And I was like, palm. And I said palm-colored. And I got another one too. You know how we, as Black people, love to say ancestors? They can call theirs cave-cestors. I love when my mind just kind of wanders and be free sometimes. Like, you never know what's gonna fly out of me. And some of them be saying, oh, I'm gonna go get some Converse. Well, you'll still be supporting Nike because Nike owns Converses. I said they gonna be walking barefoot soon. They can't wear no Nikes. They can't drive no Ford pickup trucks. It's funny to me. It really is. And you know what's even more funnier? If you have an Instagram account, go to Colin Kaepernick's page and watch all them trolls leave the same rhetorical comment after comment after comment. At this point, Black people, you don't even need to engage with them trolls. Just look at the comments they leave and just laugh, because they look all the same. It's pathetic. Or if you have a Twitter account, go to his page and look at his thread and look at the comments that the people be leaving. At first, it's like, okay, it's offensive, but now it's old and it's run its course. And now all you can do is just laugh at the stuff that they say. I know, Zero. I don't know how it happens. They inspire my terms. The I Feel Nothing was like, that became a huge hit, might I add. Exactly, Troy. It's the same whiny comments. They just word them a different way. And some of them leave these long narratives that don't mean a thing, that can be just summed up in a few words. I don't like Colin Kaepernick. That's basically what they want. That's basically what they say. Or I hate them niggers. You know the usual spill. If that's their high IQ at a workshop, their workshop needs to be shut down, and whoever's running it needs to be fired. And it's so crazy too, because now that with the whole Nike thing, now they're gonna be running to Adidas. I said y'all may want to slow your roll because Adidas might hop on the train too. Because right behind Nike is Adidas. I think Adidas is Nike's competition. I don't know how close they are in competition, but I think Adidas is like the next best thing after Nike. And if Adidas wants to hop on the train, and I won't be surprised if they will, where they gonna go to next? Oh, as Wiseman, that would be crazy. If Colin Kaepernick got a Harley Davidson deal, which is like the official motorcycle, like if the Ford pickup truck is the official truck for the palm colored, then you already know they're gonna flip out with them Harley Davidsons. Could you imagine? Because you know a lot of biker gangs have Harleys. I guess they'll be riding bicycles barefoot. But in all reality, a lot of the companies are hopping on the gravy train because they see how successful the Nike ad was. And the thing is, Nike had a contract with Colin since 2011. So they've been supporting him all the way back when his protests started, which was in 2016. They just didn't know it until recently. So technically, back in 2016, they were still purchasing Nike stuff. They were still, quote unquote, supporting him. Like I said, it's the ultimate chess move. Like corner everything off to the point where you can't move anymore. You know what? If they was to give Colin Kaepernick a Papa John's deal, I wouldn't accept it. I mean, that's one I wouldn't accept. That wouldn't be enough to make me go to Papa John's. Besides, Papa John's is almost in the toilet anyway. Like, I don't predict Papa John's making it through next year with all the stuff that they're going through. Sorry, said call them heroin heads. A mayonnaise deal. Oh my God. Imagine him becoming the spokesman for Hellmann's. Papa John's pizza tastes like the box that it comes in. It should be called Papa Box Pizza. Now, Tyrese, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I highly doubt the NRA is going to break their back to endorse him. I will be genuinely shocked if they do. Like, I don't get surprised by a lot of things, but that one would catch me by surprise. And not to mention the NRA is one of those big top-notch groups, but I highly doubt that, the NRA, and even if they did, I don't think Colin would accept that, because I'm almost certain he knows how the NRA gets down, especially with how, their lack of response when Black victims get killed and they are licensed to carry, like Philando Castile. he wants. I'm sure he would turn that endorsement down. If he was smart, he would turn it down. You said the NRA is a black man as their Twitter header. Well, they also have a lot of black people in a lot of other positions, and they only do that to put them there as a figurehead. Of course, they're not going to boycott them opioids, and the people that's dealing it are going to make sure that they don't boycott it either. them pharmaceutical companies, they are going to make sure they don't boycott that. They need the well, they don't need the money because they're already $1 billion industry, but they want to keep making billions. All right, y'all. Let's move on to the next topic, and that is Jeffrey Owens. Now, for those of you who follow my original channel, which I think is just about everybody in here, saw my video about Jeffrey Owens. And basically what happened is he was working at Trader Joe's, and this woman who people were telling me was a black woman, someone said that she was a lesbian or something like that, I don't know, took a picture of him working at Trader Joe's and saying that looks like Jeffrey Owens from The Cosby Show. And they put it out there. Media outlets got a hold of it. One of them, unfortunately, being Fox News. And they put it out there. And my main issue, and this is the reason why I call Fox News, is they try to make this guy feel bad because he was working a regular job after being on a successful hit television show back in the 80s going into the early 90s. And someone was telling me that Jeffrey Owens didn't really see a lot of success even immediately after the Cosby Show was canceled. Like they say he would take gigs here and there every few weeks at a time. It's not like how Felicia Rashad was able to thrive afterwards, or even how Raven was even able to thrive afterwards. He really didn't do anything. I think the most successful people to come out after the Cosby Show, of course, was Bill Cosby himself, Felicia Rashad, Raven, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and to an extent, Lisa Bonet. But everyone else, they kind of like faded into the background. And I'm almost certain that Jeffrey Owens was living kind of comfortable off of those residuals. But what happened was the residuals ended up drying up because when Bill Cosby got hit with those allegations, networks started pulling the show off of syndication to the point where now the cast members can't make any money. Even Malcolm Jamal Warner had went on a talk show one time and was basically talking about how, you know, that's how they were able to live comfortably years from when the show got canceled off of those residual checks. Even while still working and doing whatever, but those checks definitely came in handy and helped pay the bills. But when those checks stop, excuse me, then that's when you're forced to make life-altering decisions, which Jeffrey Owens ended up having to do because he had to not only support himself, but he had to support his family. And so this person took that picture, they put it out there, outlets got a hold of it, And then he ended up going on different talk shows. And before I go any further, someone has said something. He probably also stayed on code and didn't speak ill about Bill Cosby. Not that I know if they went to him and talked to him about it. I'm sure they're probably going to bring it up now that he's back out there. Because that Joseph C. Phillips, the one who played Martin, which was Denise's husband, he is a straight up boot licking, corn shucking Sambo. Threw Bill Cosby way under the bus. And ironically, Denise, Lisa Bonet, kind of did the same thing. I'm like, how y'all gonna speak ill about this guy who helped start your career? If Raven, of all people, didn't throw Bill Cosby under the bus, and we already know how she gets down, then why did y'all? But we're not going to get into that discussion. That's a whole another discussion I've already talked about, and I'm pretty much done with. So he's been on different talk shows and everything like that. I know he was on Good Morning America, and he was talking about it. And then Tyler Perry found out about it. He made him an offer and said he wanted to right, Joe Johnson. Yeah, I forgot Eric. Yeah, Erica Alexander came on the show at the end, and then right after that, she went right into Living Single. Tyler Perry had found out about it and said that he wanted to offer him a deal to be on his show on the OWN network. That show being The Have and the Have Nots. And it's like he kind of sat on it for a little while thinking about it, and then he finally accepted the offer. And Tyler gave him a 10-episode deal. So that means whoever watches that show will see him on there for 10 episodes. Tyler Perry actually did that too for Janet Hubert. If y'all don't know who that is, that was the original Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince for one of his shows as well. Like I said, the only thing that I hate about it was when they made it seem like it was like a very bad thing, especially when it comes from the Palm Colored, because these are the same group of people that say we got to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and we got to do this. And they, because you know, they always think they are the moral ground for everything. I said they are not the moral anything. Never has been, never will be. I said the group that has managed to mess up this establishment the way that they have cannot have any room to talk about anybody doing anything. But we'll see what happens when it comes to his situation. All right, let me move on to the next topic. Now, this one was funny. I don't know if y'all actually heard it or not, but shout out to True Royal Family because she ended up playing, I think, the entire call. But who remembers Barbecue Becky? I know some of you have been trying to forget. But anyway, the reason why I asked if y'all remember Barbecue Becky is because recently, and I think it was last week, the full 911 call was released. So when we saw the video, we only saw from the point of view of the person who was recording her. We didn't hear the discussion she was having with the dispatcher. So now that call has been released, and it's a pretty lengthy call. Like, she actually waited out there for the cops for 2 hours for them to come for calling about them barbecuing in the park. But what was so funny about it is when you listen to the call, the person on the other end could not believe, excuse me, the person on the other end could not believe what she was hearing from Barbecue Becky. Like, she's expecting to probably hear an emergency, like maybe something's on fire, maybe someone's injured at the park. No, she's hearing about how these people are grilling in the park. After a few minutes pass by, when she's on the phone with her, the dispatcher, the cop on the other end of the phone, right? I'm gonna get to that, Emily. She's wondering, is something seriously wrong with this woman? She asked her if she lived at this particular place, and she was like, I don't know what that is. She said, well, ma'am, it's a mental hospital. I laughed so hard when she said that. She asked her if she lived at a mental facility. Because she had the nerve to actually ask about people, or was complaining about people grilling in the park. Having a cookout. Exactly. Having a cookout, not a shootout. Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to listen to that, go and listen to it, because it is hilarious. It is so funny. You can get yourself some tissue, because you're probably gonna be crying laughing. It is so funny. Like, you hear the entire call, and it's like the dispatcher is like, I cannot believe this woman is actually calling here, and this is not even a real emergency. And I think, like, even when they was doing the newscasting, when they played a little bit on the news and they boiled down to a news clip, the guy that was in the anchor desk even chuckled a little bit, because it is funny. It is funny. It's pathetic, but it's funny at the same time. Like, it's kind of hard for you to not laugh at that. Emily, I don't know where she is now. Like, I think they ran her up out of Oakland or the Bay Area, because we haven't heard about her since then. Wouldn't it be so funny if somebody dressed up as her for Halloween? All they got to do is get a big fat white woman to have some glasses on, a blue hoodie, some jeans, and hold the phone up to her ear. Exactly, Cats. That, you know what, you make a good point. She probably thought she was prank calling her. And if you prank call the police, that is considered, that you can get fined for that, and you might get jail time. Like, it's the thing that what made it funny is the fact not only was the response funny, but how she was acting on the phone. Like, she's up there trying to sound all emotional and everything like that. But the thing that made me really mad about Barbecue Becky was when she took that woman's card. At that point, I would have dropped the camera and beat her ass for that. Like, you took my card, like my debit card that has my money on it, and ran off with, well, she didn't exactly run, she waddled off with it. I can't imagine a woman of her size actually running. That's too much work. Like, you can hear the woman in the background saying, hey, give me my car, give me my car. And then the dispatcher is like, excuse me, man, I hear some yelling in the background about a car. Do you have her card? And she kind of tried to dodge around. She lied. She didn't dodge. She lied. She's like, no, I don't have anything of hers. She's like, yes, you do. You have my car. Can I have my card? She's like, ma'am, you need to give her back whatever it is. See, at that point, the dispatcher had already had enough of her. She just wanted to get off the phone with her. She didn't feel like talking to her. And she was like, ma'am, I've been out here for 2 hours and nobody has come yet. She was like, man, what do you need? She's like, there are people here grilling at the park illegally. Like, I wonder if that dispatcher, she probably still works there, but I wonder how she feels looking back on that now, like having to relive that moment again. Well, I take that back. She can run, but it's not on a treadmill. It will be on her way to the closest buffet. Shoot, as big as she was, and she was near the water, she should have jumped her well-sized self in there and got some fish. She just mad that they was probably making some, probably they were making some food and she couldn't get any. Exactly, Mona. She did sound like a nutcase. That's why the dispatcher asked her, did she escape a mental hospital or did she belong to one? Because she really legit thought she was crazy. And the thing is, the dispatcher was asking her basic, simple questions, and she kept dancing around them like she wasn't giving her the stuff. Like she kept asking her to describe the people. Now she described the guy. She just said that he's about this size, this build, wearing this, and he's and I think the dispatcher asked if he was black. She said yes, and then she said, "Ma'am, describe yourself." And she kept like dancing around, describing how she looked. And that was so dumb of her because the dispatchers came back and said, well, ma'am, you need to describe how you look because when we send these cops out here, we need to know who they're looking for. So I'm trying to figure out why was she so timid to describe how she looked? Like the whole situation is just weird. Like I said, if y'all get a chance, make sure y'all go and listen to that entire call because it's really sad. It's sad and pathetic at the same time. I'm sure they do take crazy calls all day, Alana. I know they do. But that one went, there was probably enough to give that dispatcher a headache. And she probably said, you know what? I need to take the rest of the day off. What's going on, Hostile? But man, that call was crazy. But anyway, let me move on to the next topic. Now this one's not as comedic as this as the barbecue Becky. So who heard about that story about the 11-year-old black girl that was tased inside of that grocery store? It happened about I think about a month ago. I think it happened about a month ago. They didn't really release too much information about it at first. Then it came out that it was a black girl. Well, more information has since come out about it. And I actually saw this again on True Royal Families. I saw it on her Black Junction account because she said it would have been too much to put on her YouTube account. And after watching the video, I can see why. It turns out that, well, for those of you who don't know the story, basically, allegedly, this 11-year-old girl was stealing some stuff out of the store. And I'm going to say allegedly, they say allegedly for them. They said that she was allegedly stealing something out of a grocery store and they tased her to stop her. Well, it's come out recently that they showed who the cop was who tased the girl. Now, the video that I saw, it shows them right there. They have the girl apprehended because it came from the body camera. And it shows them with her shirt lifted up because the tasers went in her back. And you can actually see them pulling the tasers like out of her back, and she's in pain. For those of you who don't know, when you get shot with a taser, imagine getting shot with a staple gun. That's what they do. It's like they lock into your skin and they kind of latch on because it's attached to a cord. And when I saw her, like she's like, I felt bad for her. Like she's literally in pain and she's, she's in tears and everything because I'm sure it hurts. I mean, you imagine you're getting jolts sent through your body and she's a little girl. It doesn't take much for her to go into a shock. But luckily they didn't hit her with a high voltage. But you can see them pulling the prongs out of her back. Well, it turns out that the cop that did that was a black cop. Those of you who probably, if you didn't get a chance, Phil from the Advice Show also talked about it as well. It was a black cop that said that. I mean, that did that. But to add insult to injury of him doing that, guess what he said? He said, see, this is why black people don't have grocery stores in black communities. I said, I beg your pardon? He said, this is why black people do not have grocery stores in the black communities. Those were his words. So what he's saying is, because allegedly this little girl stole out of a grocery store, that means black people should not have grocery stores in black communities because we're prone to stealing. Well, in that case, that means that the establishment shouldn't belong to white people, because that's exactly what they did. They literally pillaged this entire land and claimed it as their own. And not only with what he said, it's how he said it, his tone. See, for me, I don't know about y'all, but I always pay attention to tone and body language. That's one thing that's all a part of being observant. So when I'm looking at his tone and his body language, I said the guy seems off. Like, he looks like he's proud to do stuff like this. Like, he looks like he's the Uncle Ruckus of that department. I said that alone in itself is very dangerous, and you would not want to be around somebody like that. You said that the cop get put under investigation? Probably not, because he's performing master's duties. When I got to that point of the video, when I saw it, I couldn't watch it no more. I couldn't. Like I said, and that's one reason why a lot of black people right now are probably timid to be police officers now, because of one or two things will happen. One, you might see some things in there that'll make you want to say something and break down that blue wall of silence, or you might get so ingrained by what you see in there that you end up turning into people like this guy. There's a documentary, I think that's on Netflix, called Crime and Punishment, and it's talking about those cops, I think in New York, who broke the blue wall of silence and started exposing some things. I need to go and watch that, because people have said that is good. I need to go watch it. I might watch it after I'm done with this live stream. But I'm sure they see and hear a lot of things going through those departments. And it's like a kind of like a sink or swim type of thing. You're either going to do as we say, or you're going to be out of here. But we're not just going to toss you out. We're going to make sure you leave, but we're going to make your life a living hell afterwards, and probably before you leave too. And the thing is, he made it seem like only black people, like I said, only black people are prone to stealing. In that case, then white people need to start losing some stuff in their communities, because they steal too. I don't know if y'all have heard, but there have been a string of bank robberies in Cincinnati, Ohio. And every last one of those bank robberies were happened by white people. But they're not going to talk about that in heavy rotation. But if it was Chicago, they'll say this, that, and the third. And what would make you think using a taser on an 11-year-old girl was the proper way to get her? What's going on, Mickey Bricks? If you look under the FBI stat chart under theft and stealing, white people lead in that category by a pretty good margin. Exactly, Emily. You got white people out here dressing up like black people, throwing on them black masks and everything like that, pretending to be black people, particularly black men. And I know they see them security cameras and they know who is stealing and who isn't. But luckily, they didn't kill the girl, because that could have happened. You know, they quick to pull that trigger finger when it comes to us. And it don't matter what the age is. But it just shows you what they can get away with and what we can't get away with. Now, I highly doubt they're going to give him any kind of disciplinary actions because it was against a little black girl. Had it been a little white girl, I wonder if he would have been as aggressive. And notice that it's the black cops that usually are the ones that always got to be the aggressor when they're around their white peers. Just like that story I did about that that guy in that jail, in that prison or that jail. I think it was in Arizona or something like that. It was one of the Midwestern to Western states where he was locked up and they ended up like they literally jumped him in prison, like a whole bunch of cops. And the black cop was the one that was going in on him the most, went on him so bad he was the one that knocked him out. The video's up on Black Junction, just in case you haven't seen it. It's like they gotta grow big balls of steel when they're around their palm-colored confidants. Exactly, Emily. They are very extra. Like they feel like they got to do the mostest with the leastest. That they looking at him like, well done, pet Negro. But if you ever step out of line, we're gonna put you to sleep. We're gonna have you fixed. All right, let's see. Next topic. I just recently talked about this one too. Les Moonves. As we all know, he recently, as probably about a month ago, was under a little bit of a spark, a little bit of a fire for being a perv, in so many words. Where some women from the 80s up until like 2010 had came out and said that he had did some things to them that was very inappropriate. Now it's funny because when I was reading the articles, he in a way admitted to doing those things and nothing happened. But then again, I'm not surprised nor shocked at it. And the most recent thing that came out involved him and Janet Jackson. Now, as we all know, the Super Bowl airs on CBS. Back in 2004, Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson did the halftime show. Wardrobe malfunction. Justin had pulled Janet's top down, exposing her breast. And you literally, like, if you blinked, you would have missed it. But I didn't blink. I saw all of it. As much as I think most of the people in the chat saw that too. And basically the FCC got involved, of course, and they fined CBS $550,000. Now that's only a drop in the bucket, a little measly drop in the bucket for CBS at that time and even today, because CBS at that time also already was a multi-million, probably billion-dollar company. So $550,000 is nothing. But apparently to Les Moonves, it was a lot because he got that outrage and that up in arms that he was the main key factor for why Janet Jackson became blackballed in the entertainment industry. Mind you, Janet was already on her way to legendary status at the time. She's already there now, despite what some people might say or might not say. She's already a legend in many people's eyes, mine included. So that following month was the Grammy Awards. Janet was supposed to be at that award show, and she was probably going to perform because it was in promotion for her new album, Demeter Joe. Well, Les Moonves said, nope, she's not coming. Justin Timberlake, they said, gave a tearful apology, and I think I remember seeing that, and he did cry a little. A little bit, whatever. He more so apologized on his behalf, but he didn't apologize on Janet's behalf, and he is the reason why her breast got exposed because she didn't pull her top off. He did. Well, Janet gave an apology too, but hers wasn't tearful enough or good enough, according to Les Moonves. Les Moonves says she wasn't sorry enough. And he said, okay, fine. You don't want to be sorry enough? Well, you're not coming to the Grammys, and I'm going to talk to the people to make sure that your album doesn't sell well. And that actually worked because her album didn't sell well. It was still a good album, but it didn't do numbers like her previous albums did. And apparently for years, he held that dark cloud over her head, all because she didn't bow down and kiss the ring. He was that upset that this successful Black woman actually, in his eyes, spit in the face of a wealthy white man. And truth be told, that's how a lot of white men are, especially a lot of white wealthy men. They literally switch their balls with their money. They feel like, I have all the money in the world. You can't really say or deny me anything. Especially if you're Black and if you're a woman, because for them, that's a double whammy, because they'll see you as weak because you're a woman, and they'll see you as weak because you're Black. So he made it possible for her to like have to suffer well into her career, only for it to be built back up again from scratch, damn near, pretty much. And then she ended up getting a book deal with Simon & Schuster, who is connected to CBS. When that happened, Les Moonves got so mad, he was like, how the F did that slip by? How did that happen? I guess money talked that day, and you know what walked. Now, this is a full circle thing because karma is now coming back to bite Les Moonves in the derriere because of these allegations that's coming, that came out against him, although he may not face anything, but whatever. However, it also came out this week that CBS is basically giving him a severance package of $100 million just to leave the company. Now, isn't that interesting? A white guy can do what he did and not face any jail time and probably not any scrutiny from them Me Too times up skanks, and just go about his business and get paid $100 million just to leave the company. I wish that could happen for me. It don't even have to be $100 million. If they gave me $1 million to leave a company right now and I wasn't even making that, bye. You don't even have to wait for the ink to dry. It can dry on my way out the door. Just make sure that it's made out in my name. Now, Bill Cosby, on the other hand, he got dragged through the mud. And by the way, speaking of Bill Cosby, I think his sentencing is coming up soon. And of course, the media going to be all over that. Exactly. Bill gets taken off the air. I think the Cosby Show only airs on 2 networks, and I think that's Bounce and TV One. And Bounce as a network, not everyone can get that. Not every cable provider has that. So there goes them residuals again. Yes, he got paid $100 million. They giving him $100 million just to leave CBS, to step down as CEO. But I'm glad to see that Janet is bouncing back into her glory. Her new song sounds really good. It trended #1 on YouTube. I think it got over 20 million views worldwide. So I actually worked her concert last year. It was very good. Not bad for a woman who at the time was 51. But I'm glad that she's like, getting back to where she used to be, and showing that it's for her, it's not too late. All right, the next topic I wanted to talk about was, and this was the video that I was so glad to put up the other day, and it was about that black man down in Florida who defended that pregnant woman from that penguin looking thing. Oh, how many of y'all watched that video? How many people? First off, if you subscribe to my main channel, I know you saw it. That video was just heavenly, just off the chain. If y'all didn't see that video or know the story, basically, this woman who was pregnant, black woman, she's 36 years old. I forgot her. I think her name is Felicia. I forgot her last name because it actually has made the airwaves. She was with her 15-year-old daughter. Her daughter was driving. You know, she's a novice driver. So, you know, when you're a novice driver, a new driver, you know, you're going to be very cautious when you're driving. Well, anyway, they were in the parking lot of what I learned to be a Walmart. I swear, all the crazy stuff happens at a Walmart. Zero Kelvin. As a matter of fact, Zero Kelvin, I did a video about it. Angry Man did a video about it yesterday, and he actually talked about it in his live stream. But she was like in the parking lot, and I guess the white guy got upset. Like I said, this goes back to the thing where I said white people have some of the worst road rage in the world, whether you are driving on the highway or if you're in a parking lot. Well, anyway, he got mad about something. The pregnant woman got out of the car. He was up to confront her like he was about to attack her. Then in comes this guy who I found out his name is Derek Brown. And I also found out that the guy that defended her is 60. I'm like, this guy does not look 60, and he doesn't sound like the traditional 60-year-old guy. Like his tone and his build, I could have sworn this guy had to be at least 40. When I found out he was 60, I was shocked. He came in there with his island shirt on and his island hat and was like, nah, you ain't gonna just roll up on this woman if she's pregnant and think you're gonna do something not while I'm here. Like that, like she was he was her guardian angel that day. Came out there, got in front of in between them. She pulled out her phone and started recording. But little did the white guy know that a few feet behind him was another black woman recording. Like everything about that whole setup was just perfect. Everything about it. So the white guy still going at it, and he is like trying his hardest to go at this guy. Mind you, this white guy is short and this black guy is tall and has a kind of a build to it. You can tell that this black guy probably was an athlete. And you can tell he probably lifted weights at one point in his life. You can just kind of tell. But the black guy had his gun on him because, you know, in Florida, that's a concealed carry state. He just exposed the gun, the holster to him. He didn't pull the gun all the way out. But the white guy was yelling at him saying, put that gun away, as if the black guy actually pulled his gun from his holster, which he did not do. The gun was still in the holster. But he was trying to send that dog whistle off in hopes that security or cops would hear him and come and tackle down the black guy, but no help came. As a matter of fact, which made it even funnier was when the white guy had looked to his left, or to our left, his right, and saw it was a white guy there. He said, this guy's got a gun. And the white guy was like, so it's legal. It's like everything was working against that white guy that day. Then the black guy was like, he was like, hit me. He was like, hit me. And the white guy actually finally hit him with that little soft punch to the rib. He shouldn't have done that because that black guy cocked that hand back and boop, right in his eye. And I told people when I did my video, the guy had a ring on. So that ring probably is what blacked his eye. And it blacked his eye real quick because when the white guy turned around briefly, he already had the mark right around his eye or underneath his eye. You could see it. But the funny thing about it was how dramatic that white guy was after he got hit. Like he was like, he hit me. He started hopping up and everything. It was so funny. That was too funny. And I said that white guy must feel like he has a lot of heart because he's going to go right back at the guy and continue trying to attack him. I'm like, this guy has a gun and he just blacked your eye. How much more pain do you want? Because see, I'm gonna echo something Angry Man said in his video. White people feel like they can control us. That's why I always say that they're not far removed from their cave sisters. The ones during Jim Crow and the ones on the plantation. A lot of them feel like we need to line up our views and our ways with them, but only from a distance, a few arms length. And you can tell that this white guy was so shook at this black man because it was one point in the video where the black guy turned his back to him and the white guy didn't do a thing. That was an opportunity he could have taken to do something cowardice, but he didn't. That black man put so much fear in that white guy's heart that he couldn't even attack him in a cowardly way, which was from behind. But that's pretty much all that happened. Like once he hit him and everything like that, and it calmed down. The thing is, the white guy was trying to cause a scene. But notice it wasn't that many people out there. It was just him, the black guy, the pregnant woman, the woman recording, the white guy that said that the gun was legal, and that one white lady toward the end. That was it. He didn't draw a crowd like he probably thought he would do, especially after he got hit. And the good news is that there were no charges brought up against the black guy that hit him. Like there was no assault charges brought up against him. I don't know if they brought up any charges against the white guy. I'm not entirely sure, but I know there weren't any charges brought up against the black guy. Because I don't know, like, you know, it was all on video. Like you couldn't really go against that. You said what happens to the black man with the bike? What bike? One story I wanted to talk about that wasn't that I didn't plan on making a video about, because I wanted to talk about it on here because I wanted to get y'all opinion about it, was did anybody pay attention to any of the coverage from that tennis match between Naomi Osaka and Serena Williams? Oh, Joe Johnson, I know what video you're talking about. That, oh, you taking it back a couple of months. I don't know what happened to that guy, but man, that was a sight to behold. The reason I'm asking is because like I keep hearing like mixed things about that. So if y'all don't know, yesterday was the finals in the, I think it was the finals in the the US Open, in which Naomi Osaka, who is 20 years old, she's half half Japanese, half Haitian. Her dad is Haitian and her mom is Japanese. And she played against Serena Williams, and Naomi Osaka ended up winning. But people are saying she won on a technicality because of some issues that was going on with Serena and the referee. And I'm hearing mixed conversations about it, like saying how Serena was cheated, or how people were saying Serena shouldn't have bitched and complained about it, or saying Naomi was the better player, and all types of things. So it's like, I don't know. It's like I'm sitting neutral with this because I don't know really what to believe because I didn't see the match. I didn't really see any coverage. So I'm going on based on what people have been saying about it. So I'm like right stuck in the middle about it. But basically, Serena, they saying that Serena was mad because the referee was making some unnecessary calls, and then she said something about the coaching and all types of stuff. And then, you know, they said the crowd was booing, not booing her, but they said they was booing Naomi, and she was trying to tell the crowd to stop booing her and all types of things. That's what I saw too. Like, it's like it was a lot that going on. And then they were saying how, like, Serena was saying how it was like she felt like it was some sexism going on and the whole misogyny thing. And then that's when I kind of almost tuned that part out. But I said for the Naomi individual, I said what a way for her to win her first really big match. You know, it's like, how could you really celebrate in that moment? And what I did not like was, we know that Naomi Osaka is half Haitian, half Japanese, but they kept referring more so to her Japanese side. I'm like, you do know her dad is Haitian. There were even people in the stands who were holding up the Haitian flag and representing it. And I actually saw an interview where Naomi actually references her Haitian side. She says she may have a Japanese mother, but she grew up in a Haitian household. It's almost like the Richard Williams effect, where sometimes he's often getting overshadowed a lot. Like, they barely want to talk about him. It's now happening with her dad. And what I also learned is that Serena Williams is one Grand Slam title behind that woman, Margaret Court. For years, they are getting scared because they don't want her to beat that number. Serena has 23, Margaret Court has 24. They do not want her to probably even tie that. See, last year they got off with a technicality because Serena had got pregnant, so she couldn't compete. But they really don't want her to beat this white woman's record, because then that would mean that they would have no other choice but to give Serena the title of the best female tennis player ever, even though in a way she's already kind of got that title. We're talking about a woman that beat Maria Sharapova when she was taking enhancement drugs and still lost, because they kept hyping up that Maria Sharapova. I said, she is mediocre. The reason why they're labeling her as the first Japanese woman is because she, I think I read somewhere where it was saying that she is representing that country, I believe. So that's why they label her as Japanese. But guess what? The pure blood Japanese over there would not consider her Japanese. They would consider her Haifu, which is half Japanese, half whatever else that you mix with that's not Japanese. That's what happened with the half black, half Japanese chick who won that Miss Japan pageant, I think back in 2015. They started labeling her Haifu. And I think that was a first for Japan for a mixed ethnicity person to win that title. Anybody who can look at Naomi Osaka can tell that she got some black in her. She's like She's probably like a cut, like maybe a shade lighter than me. For those of you who don't know what she looks like, that is her. I don't know how the Japanese feel about her. They probably love her now because of her win. You know, usually some of the most racist people will love you when you're doing something for their establishment. Think about what happened when the black people were winning for the US in the Olympics. They love when we're winning and representing them, but the minute we screw up, send them back to the niggas. Yeah, I know Niam. I know her dad is from Haiti. And the thing is, she didn't even live in Japan uh all of her life. She actually grew up here in the States. In New York, by the way. I think she was born in Japan and she lived there till like she was like 3 or 6. And then they moved to the States and she was raised here in the States. But see, they couldn't have two people representing the US. They needed someone to represent like another country. And then that's when, because she was born in Japan, that's why they went with Japan. And technically, since she was born there, that's where they're gonna go with. Exactly, Tashana, with the World Cup. Those black players, they may be representing, was it France? But they definitely knew of their African ways. And people got upset when they said they were representing Africa. Yet France is up in debt to their eyeballs to Africa, to the continent. Exactly. Like I said, they love when we represent them, but the minute we step out of line to do something, then we're back to being called niggers. Because when the Olympics was happening, I was only rooting for the black people, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Exactly, Emily, because when the Olympics was going on, it was, did you notice it was a lot of black people in the diaspora who was representing, like, it was at, I think it was at this last Olympics in 2016 where you really saw how big the diaspora was as far as black people go. Like, it was like melanin pouring out from damn near every country that was represented. And it was a lot of countries represented in the last Olympics. The one that was in Rio. Like, you saw black people popping up out in places that you didn't even know black people existed. But that shows you right there that we are everywhere. Like, you can't really go to a place and not find at least one of us there. Exactly. Emerald Princess, they popping up in the Winter Olympics. I think one of the funniest things about the Summer Olympics was when I forgot her name, the black female swimmer who won that title. They was like, and all the jokes that came in mainly from black people, they said, see, now we can put the rest that black people don't know how to swim. Exactly. We've been swimming forever. Oh man, someone tagged me in this post about Blue Lives Matter, talking about they want to push for a boycott of Nike. They can boycott it all they want. Y'all just mentioned Nike. Nike just got paid again, you dummies. I'm about to get off of here in a couple more minutes unless there's something else y'all want me to talk about. Because those were actually the topics that I brought y'all. That was all the topics I had for today. Maybe next week I might open up the panel and see if people want to come in and we can have like when I have a panel, the discussions go on way longer. Sort of like how BGS has on his discussion on his Saturday night event. That's interesting you said that, Emerald Princess, because a lot of Black people we can learn how to play a lot of things if we have the resources. Notice that in Black communities in America, we only have resources to sports like basketball and football. Like they literally only regulated us to those two sports. Like you'll rarely find people like Black people playing. I'm trying to think what's a majority white sport, like playing golf or soccer or tennis, because those cost a lot of money. So when you are void of those resources and money, you can't play in those type of sports. So they regulate you to the more cheaper sport. What did 45 say about Kaepernick now? Like he says a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, you're right. Track and field too. Like we're regulated only to certain ones that are considered to be the cheap sports. But you know what? Maybe regulated to them, but we dominate in those sports too, and that's what they're fearful of. That's why they want to keep us regulated to those things. Like think about Tiger Woods, for example. Take all that Kablasian talk to the side. When he went to the Masters back in the 90s and dominated over them white men, and he was the only Black person, because I'm not calling him Kablasian. He was the only person, like Black person, who was competing. He dominated in that sport, had them white men up there looking like, wow. They probably like, oh, we're gonna dominate him, we're gonna destroy him, and everything like that. He won the Masters, won a lot of money. His name is everywhere. He's now popular. The very next year he comes back, they alter the course. They expand the course because apparently him playing on that course and dominating them was too easy for him. So they wanted to make it challenging. Guess what Tiger Woods did? He practiced and he won the Masters again. So it's like whenever they build a goalpost, the minute we come in, they keep on moving it further and further away to keep us from winning because they are insecure with their inferiorities. Pinky, fencing is another one. Like I said, not only with the last Olympics did it show how many people was in the diaspora, but it showed you how many in the diaspora were good at other things besides track and field. They had basketball in there. They threw boxing back in there, but you saw them doing things like shot put, which I think a Black woman ended up placing very high in that. The woman who won in fencing, the swimming, the stuff that you don't usually traditionally seeing us in. Now, just imagine in the Winter Olympics, you see a Black person in that event curling and they win in that. Oh, you might as well just stop the world from turning right now. Yet Lewis Hamilton is another one. He is a Formula One racer. People wasn't really checking for Formula One like that until he got in it. And that's another thing. When we come into doing a sport, especially one where we don't have a foothold in, we make it popular. We make you want to watch it. A lot of Black people weren't checking for tennis like that until Venus and Serena got in there. Nobody was checking for golf like that, and still quiet as it's kept, not really checking for it until Tiger Woods got into it. Oh yeah, bobsledding, like in that movie Cool Runnings, and even more recently with those. I think the women were from. Where were they from? Were they from Africa or were they from Jamaica? I think they were from Africa. I forgot what country. Who was a bobsled team? Thank you, Nigeria. Okay, now, okay, Alana, I just read what you wrote, what Trump said. Okay, let me give y'all a little bit of a backstory on why I think Trump is really mad about the NFL. And I don't think it has anything to do with the national anthem. Some of you may have actually heard this, but do y'all remember years ago, and it was probably back in the early 2000s, Trump was trying, he had a separate league away from the NFL, I think, but that was his way to try to getting in the door to becoming an NFL sports owner, or he was trying to own the league or something like that. Well, they ended up turning him down. And I don't think Trump ever recovered from that. Like I said, and it's like Les Moonves with Janet Jackson. They know how to hold a grudge for years. They hardly forget a lot of things, especially when there's money involved. But he tried to have his own league, right? The XFL. He tried to have his own league, but it wasn't successful. And he wanted to be a team owner for the NFL so bad, and he felt like if he did the XFL and it was good, then he could, slip in the back door and become a team owner. But that didn't work, and I think he's still mad about that to this day. Right? Okay, Ashley said Arthur Ashe and Althea Gibson, a black male and black female tennis player. And Arthur Ashe even has an award named after him at the ESPYs. So he needs a salt-free diet. Okay, so it was AFL. Yeah, you're right. Vince Mann did have the XFL, which also wasn't successful either. You're right that it is a black female NASCAR driver, and it's a black female NASCAR driver franchiser too. I actually did a video about her months ago, and she owns that, and her and her family run it. Oh, you said Billie Jean King was white. Well, never mind. All right, y'all. I'm about to hop off of this. I've been on here for about damn near going on 3 hours. Like I said, the live streams are effective with helping to pass the time. But like I said, next time, maybe next week, I'll put the link in the chat and we can have a more open discussion with the topics. Because, there's always something new happening and going on in the establishment that's worth talking about. And I like to get people's opinions on these various topics. But I'm glad that people did come through, and shout out to the people that donated. Shout out to the people that purchased a shirt. I think I got 3 shirt purchases in this stream. I think I got 1 personal donation. So shout out to all of y'all. I'll see y'all over on my main channel, and I will talk to y'all later.